Okay. So let's start with typing in the chat. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to networking with senior leaders? Sometimes you freeze and don't know what to talk. Okay, what to talk about. Unapproachable, intimidated to start the conversation. Okay, these are all good. Difficult to get on schedule. Yeah, that's a very good point as well. Okay. So let me ask you, why should we even care about networking with leaders? I don't have my own agenda. I don't feel heard. Like why do we care about meeting with senior leaders?
So, Mrinalini, we just type in the chat or just
Oh, you
speak
can,
here?
yeah, speak as well. That's fine.
Okay. So, one thing I have noticed is like, say, when it comes to promotion and like getting selected for any like flagship projects and all those decisions happen where we are not present, right? So, we need people to kind of represent us. So,
Mm-hmm.
for that, I think more people need to know about us. It's not just our manager who should be informed that okay, like this person does these things or this person is good at these things, but we need more people to know about our capabilities,
Yeah,
strengths. Yeah.
that's an excellent point. We want somebody to represent us because the boss may or may not be invested in our success. So that's a great point. Anuradha said to become visible, yes. And Rani says lately observed that networking is key for anything. Okay, it is because we no longer work in solo mode any longer. So basically, networking helps us get from being just managers to become influential leaders. Hi, Camelia. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I consistently and predictably take women from, being just managers to becoming leaders. So, when you are at the beginning of your career, right, and you are just starting your career, you are, an amateur professionals, the first thing you need to do is build your technical skills, right? Even when you're doing that, it's very important to make the right connections because you could be greatly skilled, you have amazing technical knowledge, but if you're not able to connect well with your supervisors or their managers, you will not get the spotlight that you really need. If you're a middle manager, you have great technical skills and you have amazing leadership potential. However, if that leadership potential is not visible to your bosses, to the senior leaders, there is a huge chance that you might stay stuck in the middle management box for a long time. And what happens is when you are stuck there and you don't know exactly what you need to work on, what you need to focus on, then, excuse me, then you try a lot of different things, which may or may not help you establish as a leader. And I will actually talk about the things that we tend to waste our time on instead of focusing on what we really need to do. And then you become that leader where you have enough technical skills and you have amazing leadership skills and you're confident and self assured and you have the authority to influence. Now, when I say authority, it's not just the title. No matter what level you are at, you are able to bring people on the same page and influence and help them come to the decision that the vision that you are sharing is something that needs to be sought, that is something to be established. And what happens is when we become confident and self assured, we are able to ask whatever it is that we need to be successful, whatever it is that we need for our growth. And the way I have been able to coach my clients, they have not only been promoted, not only have secured uh, amazing jobs in different companies, they have increased their salary from 20% to almost doubling their salary, more than 100% as well. So, Sneha, for example, she negotiated an increase of 22K off cycle by building a relationship with her skip level, her boss's boss. Priya, she had a goal to become a CDO. She was a VP. She had a goal to become a CDO, Chief Data Officer, in 5 years. But because of her work, we reduced that time span to just 2 years, and she's already a CDO now. Shilpa, she just thought she's a pharmacist by background, and she thought becoming a medical lead was only possible for doctors. But now she is a medical lead at a huge European pharmaceutical company. Shravanti, she thought that MBA would be the answer. She loved her job being a neonatologist, but she thought that she was not getting the visibility, she was not getting the pay that she needed. She connected with her boss and boss's boss, and we were able to carve out a part-time thing for her, which she did in addition to her clinical role, and was paid 10K extra for that. But the most amazing part is because she was so confident because she knew how to now connect and stand up for herself, she was able to secure a new job, and she got a 72K increase in her salary. She was going to spend that money in MBA. And I told her, I will help you make that money instead of spending it on MBA. And then she started her two own businesses while being a doctor. There are many, many examples. Prajakta, she advanced her salary by 50K in her new job, and I helped her negotiate an additional 20K. Anuradha, she's here in the room. She advanced her salary by 20K along with a 20K bonus. And Anuradha now has landed a new job, and she's making much more than what she was making before. Shiny was made redundant in her previous job, and we helped her rediscover her confidence. She got a temp job in a company, and her boss created a position for her, and she is making 32K more than what she was making. Abhijit, he had imposter syndrome, and he just felt that everybody else was getting the spotlight and he wasn't. And he increased his salary by 100K, and we helped her land a lucrative job. So, when we have that executive presence, when we are sure of ourselves, sky is the limit. So, how do we do that? We don't do this by focusing on working endlessly, which is a common mistake that we women do, or venting to our spouse, telling them this is not working, that is not working, or getting more degrees or certifications, or switching jobs. Sometimes, yes, you do need to switch your jobs, but many times you can actually get promoted and get a raise in that same company. Because we get so stressed out at work, we feel like doing yoga and meditation would release. But if we don't address the root cause of the problem, then no matter what we do, it's not gonna help. Many women get frustrated and they feel like, oh, I just want to start my own business. But guess what? If you're starting your own business, you're gonna need 10 times more confidence, 10 times more speaking up skills. Or some women just get tired and they take a career break. But that's not how we do it. How we do it is by focusing on the hardest and most critical skill in career success, which is speaking up. And I will dive into what that is in just a moment. A little bit about me. I am Dr. Mrinalini Garg. I am the founder of Unshackled Career Women Program. I am an international bestseller, best-selling co-author. I'm a multiple time career changer. So I have been very frustrated. I was very frustrated in my job. And I thought if I kept changing jobs, if I kept changing career, I will be very happy. But I realized that that's not the solution. That's why I teach with even more passion for women to stick to what they know the best and how to get back that passion and excitement and that confidence in doing what they do. So I started my career as a family physician. I wasn't very happy. My, parents wanted me to become a doctor, very common in India. But I didn't want to, but I also didn't know what else to do. So I decided that I wanted to switch that. So I came to the US, got my master's in health administration. And it so happened after coming here, the chain of events that I created for myself, it put me in the best position, and I have 17 years of coaching experience working in renowned organizations as a process improvement and leadership coach, and also as a business professor. And I have taught in the MBA specialized business degree programs, and I have traveled over to in the US to the top companies, meeting with top leaders, hanging out with executives, and really understanding the mechanics of leadership. And I'm going to share that with you today. I have successfully navigated the complex cultural and corporate challenges as a woman of color, and as a woman. It doesn't matter whether we are white or brown or black. As women, we have very, very, very special challenges, and it's important to know how to navigate the corporate world. I have coached clients in, in these companies, Nike, Pfizer, Apple, in healthcare organizations, UPMC. I have worked with consulting companies, uh, like you name it, and much more. One thing I'm really, I like is that I also work with a Bollywood, a film producer in Bollywood. And it's very exciting because no matter what industry you are in, the challenges are the same. Here are some examples, as women learn to become confident, they know their worth, they everything just changes about how they show up. So Sonal, for example, right? She says, now I communicate from a place of confidence. During tough conversations, I'm able to hold my ground and continue to make progress without becoming aggressive or defensive. She's asking the right questions and assigning the right tasks to the right people rather than doing them herself, right? It's very easy for us to, oh, that person just is very sloppy at work. Let me just take on the work and I will do it. But then you end up becoming a workhorse versus being seen as a leader. Sneha, I just mentioned, she got a 22K pay raise. Prachi, she got a 15% raise in her salary plus a 2% raise. This was again off cycle. Narmada, she became bold and she's not judging herself. She's able to voice her thoughts in the meeting of 30 plus group. So most of us are great when it comes to one-on-one conversations, but when it comes to group conversation, it's very hard to find our place, very hard to find our voice and make people heard and make it mean something. People easily cut us off, and they just take over. So in this case, she took ownership of her team meetings, which usually is taken over by her male peer. I feel good about myself on how I handle conflicts, putting ownership on the right POCs instead of taking it on my plate. And there are many more examples, but I want to, really dive into the presentation. So I'm literally going to break it down for you piece by piece, how to network with leaders. And I'm not going to hold anything back because I really want you to, have that visibility. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you to become visible in the workplace first. And then come back to me later, if you're hungry for more growth and need my help in getting there. And I'm not even bragging when I'm saying this. Having taught in the MBA program as a business professor, and knowing that You know how it's a more of a cookie cutter process. I mean, there is importance for doing MBA, but when it comes to speaking up, especially for women, speaking up, showing up as a leader, they don't cover it. So the content I'm about to share is worth more than how much an MBA degree costs. So make sure you're taking a lot of notes. And anytime you have a question, type it in the chat. I'll come back, uh, in between and see if I can address them. So let me share the conventional wisdom, right? Um, you go to your boss because you know that you have been working very hard, you have been delivering amazing results. However, when it comes to getting that promotion, what is it that they say? So before I share what's on the screen, I want to hear from you. What is it that they tell you? What's the common thing, common feedback you get from them? No budget. Yep. What else? What are the things they ask you to work on? Increase my productivity. Yep. What else? What skills do they want you to improve upon? Yes. I don't think you're ready yet. Communication skills and being visible. Yep. Yep. That's exactly right. Need to showcase more projects, soft skills, assertive. Yeah, 100 points to all of you. All good answers. Yep, they ask you to work on leadership skills and soft skills. How many of the bosses actually tell you what that means, right? And this is the problem because you know when you get that feedback, you basically go and figure out, what do I need to work on? And then you've probably been wasting your time on learning these skills, soft skills. What are they even? Like, where do you even start to figure out what soft skills are? So then you go down the list, or maybe it's presentation skills. So you try to figure out, how to be a better presentation. You work on time management, right? You work on managing burnout and exhaustion. You work out, how do I deal with procrastination? And you start thinking maybe I should get another degree or certification, or go for stress reduction so that you can be more productive, you can be more present and do more. And then unfortunately this also starts happening, weight gain, emotional eating, or some other chronic conditions. So that's the conventional wisdom, right? But let's talk about the real stuff. So, real stuff is what? The first thing you need is confidence in yourself, right? And that comes from knowing yourself. Second thing is advocacy, knowing how to speak up. And then the third thing, another important piece is networking, which is what we will dive into today. But you need all three of these to really being seen and skyrocket your career. So, I just came up with these abbreviation, right? If you can, you can, right? If you have the confidence, advocacy, you know how to advocate for yourself and know how to network, you can. So this is how our process is. Basically, we dive into, building your confidence, right? Understanding what are the limiting beliefs, where are they coming from, how do we eliminate that? Then we talk about how you can use your voice and speak up and build social capital, which is networking. That's these three things together lead to the dream leadership position that you already know you deserve. So let's dive into networking. So I'm going to share with you a leadership tool. And, because you're all present here, I will just give it to you as a bonus. So let me share the leadership tool, and then I'll show you the different components. So here it is. So basically, what I have done here is I have broken down the various skills that are needed to become a leader, so that you don't have any confusion about when somebody tells you, well, do you have the soft skills or not? I break it down for you exactly what that means, and that way you are focused only on a few things that you need to work on, and not think about, if you Google leadership or if you Google soft skills, there are like 30 million hits or more that you get. So you don't feel overwhelmed, and you know that these are the only things that you need to work on. So technical skill is, skill that's your bread and butter. It's the knowledge that you have, the degrees that you have got in, right? That's the technical skills. Self confidence, I'll actually break it down for you that as well, so that you don't think of self confidence as something, you have to pull from thin air. It is something that can be built. And then when it comes to communication, non-verbal communication, and when I say non-verbal, I'm not talking about your posture. It's not that. Then verbal communication and networking. Um, so whatever level of technical skills you have, let's consider as one. Okay. Now you can continue increasing your technical skills, but if you don't have these four other skills, you see the leadership score here, it's only 11%. And the common mistake we all do is that, oh, I need to learn another technology. I need to get another certification. I need to get another degree. But there is only so much technical knowledge that you can gain. I mean, you can gain as much technical knowledge as you want, but there is only so much technical knowledge can help you get to that next level of leadership. So, whether you are at the very beginning of your career, whether you are in a mid-level position, or you are at, in leadership positions, confidence is a must, right? So we need to build that. Let's see non-verbal, and I'm going to show you what non-verbal communication is in just a minute. But if we bring that to 80%, right? If we bring this to another 80%, right? Networking skill, 80%. Now, the thing is that this is a system, right? And when we are working in a system, which is you, right? If we think about the leadership operating system, which is you, unless and until we continue to build these skills, we are not going to go exactly where we want to be. So we need to keep working on. So as we, get closer to, you know, point 0.9, right? 90%. This is point 0.9, point 0.9, right? So these together, oops, there are no points, no two decimal points, right? So when we think about the operating leadership system, the total is one, right? And to get to that one, we need to work on each of the systems. So if we have verbal communication and non-verbal communication at, point 0.9 or 1, that still is not enough unless and until we work on these other things, right? So we want to understand that there is, at this point, you have enough technical knowledge that you need. It is these other pillars that you need to work on. So, I will give this tool to you. I don't want to spend much time on it, but uh, you will really understand what it means. So, self confidence, it's your belief about yourself. If you believe you can do it, you can, right? So, there's that sense of worthiness. Um, if we look at the leadership perspective, why are we not confident? Honestly, I have done so much research on the topic of confidence, and I have reached this conclusion based on my own experiences working with my clients, doing all the research that I have done. Your formative years define how you're going to show up as an adult. So, whatever your childhood experiences were, they could be extremely abusive, or there could be some emotional neglect. It is going to hamper your confidence. So, when we work with our clients, we really go back and figure out what exactly, you know, changed for you, that you're not that confident any longer. What is holding you back? Nonverbal communication is, how well you connect with your audience. See, it has nothing to do with your posture. It's just how quickly you can connect with them. Uh, it's and making quick decisions. So if you are in a meeting and some conversation is going on, but you're thinking and overthinking about the idea that you want to share, you have lost the opportunity to share. And in the leadership perspective, I share with you, the tone, the speed with which you speak, the pitch, humor. So are you mirroring what the other person is doing? And again, today we don't have the time to do that. Verbal communication is how well you take charge of conversations. Are you advocating and defending your ideas? Are you sharing your opinions and vision? And leadership perspective, we get worried about our accent, our English, and our vocabulary, but it really doesn't matter. It's how you hold your ground during high stake conversations is what sets you apart from everyone else and sets you up as a leader. And then networking is what we are going to dive into, but you will all get a copy of this. It will be fun for you to figure out where you are at on the leadership fitness score. And again, this is not rocket science. I don't want you to think too much about, oh, but where am I at confidence? You will know it. You know it. So pick a number and just play around with it. So let's come back to the presentation, and hopefully it won't take me too long to pull this up this time. All right. So once we know what the gap is, then it becomes easier to address that gap. But if we don't know, if we have this, oh, there's something wrong with me, oh, I am not enough, oh, I need to work on this, oh, I need to do that, then the thing is that we don't do anything and we feel stuck, and we go into that negative downward spiral, and we start beating ourselves up, and then our self-esteem goes down, and it's not fun at all then. So let's come to networking. So here is what happens, right? You are totally confused. Like, I have been working my rear off. I know I deserve this promotion. And then you go to your boss, and your boss gives you this answer. Oh, you need to work on your leadership skills. Oh, we don't have the budget. Oh, keep doing whatever you're doing, and we'll see in the next 6 months or a year. So they just dangle a carrot, right? And of course, when the boss praises us, it feels so great. My boss sees the value in me. And only if, his or her hands weren't tied, they would have definitely made us the next level leader, right? But bosses give these excuses. Why? Because they know it works. So if they say, oh, you're so great, Remya, I love how you're showing up every day, the way you are handling team meetings, but there's no budget. So if the boss says, Ramya, there's no budget, are you gonna go and challenge the boss, or are you just gonna say, oh, my boss really wants me to succeed and grow, but what can he or she do? There's no budget, right? um or
Yeah, definitely we cannot challenge the no budget thing.
yeah, so they give these excuses because it works. Or they will say, if Camellia goes to the boss and says, well, I deserve a promotion, they're going to say, oh, I reached out to HR and they said this can't be possible. They say that because it works. Who's going to challenge them? So the key is to actually challenge them, right? Now, that is a completely different topic, but I'll tell you very in short. So when the boss says that you need to work on your leadership skills, don't let them off the hook. Don't let them off the hook. Ask them, okay, I hear you, boss. Um, as far as I go, the way I'm leading meetings, the results that I'm producing, I don't even have the authority, but I'm working with people outside of the department. I don't have any authority, but I am bringing them together and I'm giving these results. So, in my mind, that is leadership. Am I missing something? Right? So, you challenge them, but in a manner where it's not challenging, it's you're sharing the truth and then asking their perspective, right? If they say, well, there's no budget, it's like, okay, I hear you, boss, there's no budget. Let me ask you this though, budget aside, HR aside, based on what you know about my work, what I do you believe that I deserve the next level? So now what we are doing is we are trying to extract the truth from them. And sometimes, the boss will give us the truth and it would be a difficult pill to swallow. But sometimes we need that real feedback versus, oh, yeah, keep doing whatever you're doing. Right. So the idea is to really extract what it is. So, what we want to do here is to find out if the boss is on board or not. Is the boss invested in our success or not? Because once we know that, we can either think about, okay, I am leaving because boss, I am, creating 90% productivity for my boss. Why is he going to get me promoted or she going to get me promoted? Because we are helping them shine with all our work. So we can either leave, right? Or we open the side door, which I'm going to talk about. So, first of all, no need to put the boss on the pedestal, right? The boss is just the boss, nothing else. But nobody taught us that we could actually have a conversation with them, push back, and really ask, what's the real deal? So that way we can make that decision instead of staying stuck and hoping that we'll get promoted next year. We can just leave and find another opportunity, right? And again, you might say that, oh, but market is this and that. So we make a choice, right? We make a choice. Well, I'm going to stay here for some time. Or again, market is bad. It has been bad for many years. Again, how we show up in interviews, how we apply, that matters. But again, that's out of the syllabus today. So you take the side door, you go to the skip level, right? And have that conversation. Now, what is the biggest fear that comes to mind when it comes to going and talking to the skip level? What are some of the thoughts that come to mind just thinking about going to the skip level? And I'm going to queue up another thing that I'm going to share with you. Panic, undermining boss. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, well, I don't want to step on my boss's toes, right? I don't want my boss to think that I am, you know, mm, just like cutting him out of the conversation. That's a very, very normal fear. But I'm going to share with you a strategy. Scared how boss will react. But I'm going to share with you a strategy where your boss is not going to feel like you are um, short circuiting him, so to speak, or going behind his back to have a conversation with the boss. So are you all ready? Type 1 if you are ready in the chat. Good, 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 good. All right, so I'm going to share my Google Doc. So I'm going to walk you through each and everything. Like I said, I'm not going to hold anything back because I want you to succeed. It's about time that, women take charge of their career and not feel like, they can be pushed around by others. So why is it important to connect with senior leaders real quick? Your boss might not be interested in your career growth, right? They might be insecure, or they might feel like this is my best team player. Why am I gonna have him or her get promoted? I can shine because of this person. So I'm gonna keep them there. And the thing is, because they can dangle a carrot, because they can praise us, because they can bring HR or budget in the conversation, and they know nobody's going to challenge them, they can put us there. And this is very important for each one of us to understand, that bosses are capable of doing that. I had someone I had spoken with. She said that I felt so bad for my boss because I felt like, he wants me to get promoted, but he just can't because, there's no budget. So, how to make sure that it really is an excuse is by asking those deeper questions, budget aside, do you really believe that I am, I deserve that next level? So an honest boss will basically answer that, yes, you deserve, and I would have done anything in my power to help you get there. And if you want to leave, go somewhere, I would be happy to give you a recommendation. That's what good bosses do. They don't try to keep you just there. So we have to figure out whether the boss is on board or not. But you can basically, if you're not getting promoted, it's safe to say your boss is not on board. Okay. Um, the next thing is, well, the boss could keep you again, suppressed, because when you do all the hard work, the boss can take the presentation or the results that you have created and do that presentation in meetings where it matters, and just say a thank you to you in private. Thank you so much. What will I do without you? You are my right hand. And we just melt. Oh, that feels so great. But again, we have to take charge, right? It's like, can I do the presentation? Can I at least be in that meeting so I can provide more data, more information? Um, Senior leaders, why is it important? Because once you make that connection, they can become your cheerleaders and bypass your boss to help you with your career growth, which is the goal we should have when it comes to networking with senior leaders. And also keep in mind, when it comes to networking, know that it should be mutually beneficial, right? So when we are going and talking to our boss and telling them, these are the results I have created, these are my accomplishments, you are actually also helping them when a next project comes up or a position opens up. They feel that, yeah, I can have Camellia. Camellia, am I saying your name correctly? Camellia, or is it Camellia? Okay. All right. Well, I'll say Camellia. Oh, there you go. Okay, all right, Camellia. Great. So, so if you meet with the senior leader, he or she will remember you. And when a new project comes up, they will know your skills, your accomplishments, and they know that you are an amazing employee. They are gonna think of you. So you are making their job easier by going and telling them how great you are, right? So I will share with you again how to do that. So where do I start, right? How do I even get on their calendar, right? So again, like I said, I'm breaking it down piece by piece for you, so you don't have to do any thinking. So write them an email to schedule a time with them, right? What do you write in your email? Hey, name, whatever the name is. I've seen you in many meetings and really appreciate how you really manage conflict. I really love the way you connect with people. There is always something when we see leaders, we admire them because of something. So think of something genuine, right? Something genuine. So send that email, or you can also say, hey, I happened to visit your LinkedIn profile and I was really intrigued by ABC. Like one of my clients, I helped her connect with her CTO, and we looked at his LinkedIn profile together. So, how do you look for things that can be intriguing? So, he did his bachelor's in computer science. He worked for 5 years in a company as a software engineer, and his next role was VP, software engineer to VP. That intrigues me. I want to know what is he doing. So So pointing out such things, and it doesn't have to be just work experience, but you might see that, oh, he majored or she majored in music, but now she is a CFO. That is intriguing. How did that happen? So I want to genuinely understand their journey, right? So you can then write, I'm very interested in learning more about your career trajectory and learn more about your evolution in the role. Would you be opposed to meeting with me? We could meet during lunchtime and, offer to buy lunch because everybody loves free food. And great leaders will offer to pay the bill anyway. But yeah, make that offer. If you're remote, yes, you won't be buying them lunch or coffee, but you can, just by saying that I want to learn more about you, they would be more than willing to meet with you. So just honestly, so Cindy, for example, right? If somebody came to you, right, a woman who is just starting her career as a doctor, and she wants to know, Cindy, I want to learn about your career journey. I could use some tips from you. Would you be interested in meeting with her? Oh, because the videos are okay. Yes, right. It's just being human, right? With leaders, the thing is, again, we put leaders on the pedestal, right? And everybody goes to them just for solving problems, right? Hey, I need to increase budget. you know Two people left on my team, I want to hire more, the system broke down. Everybody goes to them for problems. But when they see an email like this, it's like a whiff of fresh air. Everybody wants to talk about themselves. So we take advantage of that, and they will say no, say yes. Now, will there be leaders who will say no? Yes, but it doesn't matter. So start with the skip level. If skip level doesn't work, meet with other leaders in the organization. Make yourself known organization wide. It's a question of building that connection. And when an opportunity arises, you will be snagged from your current position. So it's important to build as many relationships as possible. Okay, so let's say, they said yes. And now what do you do? How do you prepare for the meeting? So there's something you need to do before the meeting so that you are prepared and confident during the meeting. So before the meeting, do your research on them. Find out something you genuinely like about them or appreciate about them. Now, this is the important part. Yes, we are going in there to learn about them, but know that they are going to ask you about what you do. So you need to be prepared to shine the light on you. So make a list of 2 to 3 projects that you worked on, that you feel you were highly successful and you played an important role. It could be something that you put your sweat, blood, and tears in, stayed up, burned the midnight oil. Think about those projects. Think about the metrics, because leaders love metrics. If you go and tell them I worked on it 17 hours every day for 2 weeks, they don't care. They would actually be worried and concerned. It's like, if you are so qualified, if you have this expertise, why do you have to put in so much time? They will judge you for not taking care of your schedule. And when we put in the work, we are thinking about, yeah, finally somebody, if I do this, somebody will pay attention, somebody will know how hard I work. Nobody cares about hard work. Sorry to break that bubble. They will be concerned, like, why is it taking you so long? There's something wrong with you. So the amount of time doesn't matter. Amount of qualifications also does not matter. Amount of expertise does not matter. Are you moving the needle for the company, and are you able to talk about it? Yeah, smart work. Yeah, if you are working harder, work hard on this part, how to communicate, how to articulate. So, what were your major accomplishments that would be relevant for the leader? Right now, the CFO, the finance chief finance officer, won't be interested much in the increase in efficiencies, right? If you go and tell them that, we improved the quality of this product, they will start yawning. So you want to make it relevant for the chief financial officer. So talk about bottom line, right? Cost savings or the additional margin you are able to create. Also be clear on what your ambition is. Now I can't emphasize more on this point. It's very important for you to be very forthright about what your ambition is. So if you are a director and if you want to become a VP, be ready to say that, right? I see myself becoming a VP in the next few years. This is where, this is where we hold ourselves back. But we need to utter these things in front of the leader, because that, first of all, shows that you have clarity on where you want to take your career. The second thing is it shows the leader that you are confident. You are creating a perception about you by being sure about where you want to go in your career. Title, what you want to do. Because then, when you can clearly state that, the leader can start thinking about, oh, she is VP level material. Where can I put her? If it's the skip level, they are going to say, why is she in this position? I need to help her, get to that next level. Okay. So during the meeting, start with thanking them for their time, right? Say something on these lines. See, like I said, I'm breaking it down piece by piece. I'm pretty sure you have other priorities, but you decided to give me this time. I appreciate it very much, right? Share with them how you decided to meet with them, what stood out for you in their leadership or their career trajectory. Ask them about how they decided to be on this career path, right? Just start from the beginning. Like how did you decide to become, a CIO or a chief medical officer, depending on whatever your field is. Then ask them what's the most satisfying part of their job. Ask them what keeps them up at night. What vision do they have for their department or for the company? Now, this is key, right? What keeps them up at night? Actually, all three questions are key. What's the most satisfying part of their job? What keeps them up at night? What vision do they have for their department or company? And when they share what keeps them up at night, think about how can you help them with that particular project or that concern. Well, I have some ideas. Maybe I can come into this one meeting and share how this needs to be done. What vision do they have? Start thinking about how you've been working on meeting that vision. Now, vision is always, think about metrics. I want to increase the market share, right? I want to increase customer satisfaction by such and such. Start thinking about all the work that you have done and how it relates to customer satisfaction. Thank you for sharing that. There was this one project I was working out on, and we were receiving multiple customer complaints. And I led that project and we brought it down to XYZ. So listen for the things where you can shine the light, which is why that preparation for the 2, 3 projects is very important. Now they'll ask about you, right? At this point, be ready to share your accomplishments and what you love about your job. If they don't ask about you, which would be very strange. Oh, but I'll tell you, there are some people who just want to talk about themselves, right? So be prepared for everything. Ask them, could I ask you something, right? And they say, and then say, I love what I do here. I especially love XYZ. Mention whatever it is that you love. Talk about the results that you have been able to achieve. And then say, but sometimes I feel underutilized. I feel I bring so much to the table, but don't get as many opportunities. And then this is something that this is the only time where I feel like we can play that woman card or woman of color card. This is the only time. I feel as a brown woman, as an immigrant, I feel I did not leave my country to come to a new one only to feel like I can, I can't get to the next level. See what I did there? So I am not playing the victim card. I'm saying I did not come here to stay stuck. I am curious why I'm not at that next level. I wonder if you have any ideas for me to become more visible so I can be seen as a capable leader and move up on the career ladder. And then they will start, you know, they will ask you, so tell me more about your role. Think about those 2 to 3 projects, talk about your accomplishments, talk about what are the things that you love doing, right? They will make a note of it. They might not have the answers immediately, but you will be doing follow up with them, right? But it's important that you're prepared. They will give you ideas to work on, and then say explore more, and ask how can I position myself better to show what I'm capable of. I know Josephine is here. She had that first conversation, and the CTO said, here, take more responsibilities. And Josephine was, well, I'm already doing more. I don't want more responsibilities. So we had a conversation again, and she went back and basically shared. Josephine, do you want to share what you went back and said to him? And you can unmute yourself if you want. Okay, i'm not sure if she's at the computer or not, but basically we had her go back to the boss and say that, not boss, the CTO, and basically say that, you know what, I appreciate that you want to give me more responsibilities, but honestly, currently I'm doing more than what's asked in this role in the job description. And then she listed out, basically I'm doing this, doing this, doing that. And then, you know uh, he realized that, yeah, giving more responsibilities is not what she's looking for. And then after a few weeks, Josephine's manager told her that, hey, you know what, you're getting a promotion, you're getting a raise. And she was the only person who got promoted in her department during that time period. So it's important that you are prepared, and prepared to talk about yourself, your accomplishments. And this is where the confidence comes into picture, right? I talked about how we need all those 3 things in place so that you have solid conversations. And executive presence is nothing but having, it's building that executive presence, that confidently showing that you are the leader, people can rely on you, one conversation at a time. Okay, I'm looking at the time. Just a few more minutes. So uh, take copious notes, right? Take a notepad with you. If you are having a remote meeting, make sure you are writing down all the things that they are saying. And then after the meeting, thank them for their time. Tell them it was great meeting with you. You gave me some great pointers. I will keep you updated. And then this is another key thing. Ask them if it would be okay to stay in touch and reach out again. Their answer is going to be yes. If you do meet for lunch or coffee, pay for it. If you meet on Zoom, say, if we had met in person, I would have loved to buy you lunch or coffee or something. Right? Now, one common mistake that people do when they meet with senior leaders is that, can you mentor me? Don't do that mistake. Mentoring, that just puts so much pressure on them. It's a lot of work. Mentoring is like, oh, I'll have to meet with this person over and over and over and over. That's just too much. Busy executives, they are gonna say no, and it's gonna feel like burden. They will avoid you, uh, if you ask them to become their mentors. So unless and until there's this formal, leadership thing going on in your organization and a leader is becoming your mentor, outside of that, please do not go and ask leaders to be your mentor. Their job is not to mentor you. After the meeting, send them a thank you note. From time to time, send them updates on how you applied what they told you and the difference you see. So make sure that you apply whatever pointers they gave you. If you find an article that is interesting, that is similar to the conversation that you had with the leader, send a link to them, said that, I read this article, it reminded of our conversation. Again, thank you for your time. Right? After a quarter or so, and send them your accomplishments from time to time. After a quarter or so, request another meeting. So now, when you network with leaders, it's a dating like process, right? Like it's not going to happen in one conversation. Well, I mean, there are exceptions. Josephine had just two conversations and she got a raise and a promotion. But it takes time, right? And this is why, in our program, it's a 6-month program now, and I know it takes time for people to build that relationship, build that trust, so that you can start seeing the impact of that. So I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, and I want to see what questions you have, and you can unmute yourself, turn your video on, and just ask the question. Or yeah. Any questions?
Hey, Mrinalini.
Hey, Cindy.
I'm eating lunch. I don't really think that I have any questions, but I just wanted to say that I think this is a really good advice, and you're touching on just like human aspects of behavior that they will say yes to, and making them feel making the leaders feel valued and wanted, and like what they have to say matters. So I appreciate you, everything that you taught today.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is just 10% of what we do in my program, Unshackle Career Woman. There is so much more that that needs to be done. I mean, this is all simple, but it's not easy, which is why you need somebody to help you get there. So if you're interested in exploring further to see if I can help you or not, I invite you to schedule a call with me. It's a complimentary call. You can go to, and I'll drop the link here, but it's www.unshackledcareerwoman.com/call. The reason I do this call is because I basically want to make sure that I understand what your challenges are, and I want to make sure that I can help you achieve your goals no matter what, and lay out a roadmap, and then we take it from there.